Hey kids, what time is it now? It is time for mail call for April of 2018 in May. And welcome to all of you to part one. It's an interesting month. It was a varied month. It was a month of a lot of personal challenges for me. Also, Missy Jen's second infusion. Had a lot of private messaging this month, and I've made some new friends that way too. People that don't always talk a lot, don't always appear on Hangouts, don't always appear in comment sections, but there's a very heavy flow of private messages that go on. Particularly, I think if you're a transgender person, there's a lot of people that don't want to be publicly commenting on things, but then they take the time to write you privately, and I appreciate that. There's a gal up in Wheeling, West Virginia, and she said the whole topic of being third gendered, and that's what I really associate myself with, being neither male nor female, but perfectly right down the middle, half and half. Not genetically so, but in my mind and in the way I feel like I present myself and I look at myself. Uh, and she wanted to know, was that professionally figured it out? In other words, was that professionally diagnosed by a psychologist or a counselor, or is it what you feel? And it really is what I feel, because I don't really fully identify with being female, and I don't fully identify with being male, and I enjoy a lot of the pursuits of being male. There's cars and firearms and metal detecting. It's kind of a strange blend, but then I drive myself, physically appearance wise to appear as female as possible up to a point. And then there is the whole, how do you put the two together? Well, you call yourself third gender. So it's something that I just feel. This is one I get quite often. Do you feel more attracted to men or women? It really, to me, comes down to a personal issue. The person. You can be attractive to people, at least I am, and I'm attracted to some men, I'm attracted to some women. It just really depends on the individual person. I cannot say as a blanket that men or women are more attractive. It's just the individual person, and then their gender sort of comes shining through as a secondary. Does that make sense to you? It really comes down to the person. Let's see. Um, this person said, obviously, I know why men are attracted, but what about women? Why are women attracted to you? I think because I do some things that women do identify and enjoy. Uh, dressing sexy, and well, I push the envelope a lot more than most women do, but I enjoy things that women typically associate with baking and other pursuits like that. And I do enjoy the feminine side very much. And there's no denying the fact that women, I think some women find me attractive because I do have, I am a non-op trans woman, which means I've kept my I have my original equipment. It hasn't been changed out like Missy Jen's, and I think that there's are a certain number of women that find that very fascinating. That sort of what I've called the third gender. So maybe that's it, and then maybe it's my sparkling personality too. How many years have you been on hormones? It's been over 10 years. And I had to look back and doing some work on the channel. I happen to also see that it's been about four years now that I've been on injectable hormones as opposed to taking a pill. And that's where I've found my greatest strides in being on hormones, and I'll do a separate video about that and the various changes that occurred with that. So it's been about 10 years. Do you think you'll ever grow up and put some clothes on? God, I hope not. is all I can do today, right? To be here, like seriously, of course. I mean, there's a time and place for everything. I just enjoy it. I've always been just one to revel and enjoy my body. So yeah, why don't this person says why don't you ever review seafood restaurants? There should be plenty. And it's true, we're only about 15 miles from the ocean, but we might as well be in Kansas City, for all the caring about seafood. You have a major crabbing industry, salmon fishing, cod fishing, and all that. But for some reason, this the restaurant scene here really is dominated by Italian cooking because of the wine industry here and the growth of the influx of Italians to plant vineyards in the 1800s and things. They brought their cooking with them, and the Italian is really a dominant influence. And Missy Jen and I have struggled really to find a seafood restaurant, and we just scratch our heads because we know we could drive to San Francisco and have really great seafood, but we're always trying to explore the local food scene. So this is why I think we will have one coming up, though. So just bear with the program. What kind of travels are you going to do this year? We want to go down to Los Angeles in May. That's going to be a week in LA. We're going to have a lot of fun there, do a lot of good video, have a blast. And then in what are we going to do in June? Of course, June or July, Tara will be coming up and spending some time with us. Then I think I'm going to be going out to Kansas City and Des Moines, having some fun there. I'm going to be spending a week around there. And I've always wanted to kind of poke around Iowa, and I've wanted to spend a little more time in Kansas City too. It's one of my favorite cities in America. Then in October, we will be going back to San Diego. We skipped that last year, but it's going to be great to spend a week in San Diego. Then probably Las Vegas in December, and then Hawaii in January. How about that? Does that sound like a lot of fun? Does to me. How about your belly button now, Rosie? I agree, belly button piercings are very sexy, and yours looks great. What are the chances of it working this time? And why don't you wear the dangly, pretty piercings that you talk about? Well, I'm hoping it works this time, and I love them. And the reason I can't wear the dangly kind is initially they're afraid that if you have dangly, the fine little chains with things hanging down, yes, it's incredibly sexy looking, but they're afraid that you're going to get snagged. You'll snag yourself on something in your pants or and then you'll rip out your piercing. So they want to make sure it's well healed before you start changing it out for other piercings. And it's a question of being patient for about 6 months or so. So it is what it is. But I agree, it's the only thing I want to have pierced. I've had people, oh, Rosie, get your nipples pierced, get your other body parts pierced. No, just one for me. So. But thank you. This is what we're coming up on 1 month on the diet, and the results are really showing now. And I'm going to be doing an upload. Well, you already saw it anyway. The upload on the 1 month diet report. But this person wants to know, how do you stick to a diet so well? Well, for me, it's about visualization. I get in my mind what I want to look like. And anytime I feel like cheating a little bit, and I've been really good on this diet. I mean, Sunday we went out to breakfast. There was ham, there was potatoes, there was bread, there was eggs. Well, I ended up having one slice of toast, eggs, and ham, and really none of the potatoes at all. So it's being very conscious. I have this image of what I want to be, and I see the reinforcement every day as my body shape appears out of that and gets much more defined and much more the way I want. It becomes a reinforcing kind of process. It's like when when people would do sculpting out of stone of the form, the male or female form, the body would emerge out of that. They had the visualization of what it looks like, and they just made that come out of a stone. Well, I have an image of my ideal sort of body shape and things, and I drive myself towards that. And every time I feel myself weakening a little bit, I put that image in my mind, and it sort of gets me over the hump. And then I go munch on a few carrots and stuff. Okay? Yes, I know, I know. Rosie's all about being body conscious, right? Yes, that's my thing. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the April mail call in May of 2018. Stay tuned. We've got parts 2 and 3 to come. Thanks, everybody.